If you're looking to build a career in marine science and conservation, this is the episode for you because I'm going to be talking about volunteership and internships that are non-paid versus paid jobs and why I feel that people are focusing more on volunteering and trying to get that experience instead of going for jobs. We're going to talk about that on today's episode of the How to Protect the Ocean podcast. Let's start the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the How to Protect the Ocean podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Lewin. This is the podcast where you find out what's happening with the ocean, how you can speak up for the ocean, and what you can do to live for a better ocean by taking action. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about jobs. That's right. We're going to talk about how to protect the ocean by taking action through looking for a career in marine science and conservation. A lot of you in my audience are early career researchers, early career scientists, conservationists, and you've just graduated or you're in a graduate study program and you're looking or thinking about getting a job in marine science and conservation. And, I'm very similar to you where we had the dream, since we were small and we were like, hey, you know what? We are going to try and find a job. This is our dream. We are going to work in the ocean. We are going to work for the ocean. We are going to try and protect it. We are going to try and conserve it. We're going to try and discover new species or discover new things about the ocean so that people can get to know about it. And you want to work around the ocean. Who doesn't, right? Like, let's be honest. It's a pretty minimal thing to have passion for the ocean when you're around it and you love it so much. A lot of us in the ocean field, have passion for it, love to be out on the ocean. It doesn't matter if you're on the conservation or science side, you're on the fisheries side, you're on sort of marine suppliers or anything like that. You love the ocean. You love being on the ocean, right? That's an easy thing to do. And so I see this all the time. It's like, I want to work in the ocean. I want to work in the ocean. Where can I find volunteerships? And I'm going to be honest, there's nothing wrong with volunteering to get experience. The problem is I feel that a lot of people are coming in and saying, I am going to work for free to get, to do the work that I am supposed to be doing to get paid for, right? Here's the big issue with that a lot of people within marine science and conservation who have gone through the externships or the volunteerships and things like that and internships that are non-paid. It feels like it's a necessary thing right now. You get a lot of people who are giving advice who are saying, yeah, volunteer, do an internship, get experience before you can do it. And that's all said and that's fine if you can afford to do that, right? But the problem is like, if you're a marine biologist, you graduate with a degree, you're a marine biologist. You have the ability to get a job in marine biology. You may not have the experience, and hopefully during your university career, you could gain that experience. And I've had episodes on that, and I'll probably talk about that in the next time I talk about jobs, is getting that experience within your university career, whether it's undergrad and graduate, it doesn't matter. Get the experience there in a lot of different things. So one, find out what you like, and two, get experience, not only experience in working on different projects, but also experience in working in different teams and understanding how you fit in a team dynamic. Because a lot of times when people hire, they're going to say, can this person come into my team and be really good? I work for a software company right now. We're hiring for a team member. Our team is super tight. We lost team members and it's like a big sad thing. We really like our team. And so when a team member leaves or we're hiring a new team member, it's a big deal. Because our managers want to make sure that they have the same sort of qualities. They don't have to be the same person, but the same sort of qualities that will bring in to a team. Will they have like diverse set of thought process? Will they have a special set of skills that can complement the team? Not be the same, but complement the team. All these different things come into play because it's important. It's important to be able to say, hey, we need to focus in on working as a team and getting along, and you want to have fun when you go in. When I go into my software company, I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the people. We go into work once a week. We meet twice a week online. I enjoy working with the people. I enjoy talking to them. I enjoy interacting with them, right? We go out for happy hours sometimes. I'm in a very good situation in terms of team members, and that's great. I look for that. I look for people. I look for culture in a workplace to be able to, I can say I have fun going into this place. People want that in the science industry too. And so they're hiring for that as well. So to be able to get experience in learning what teams you like and what you don't like, even from different supervisors and bosses and things like that, really helps. But I digress. We want to talk about something different. We want to talk about going after paid jobs. And I'm going to tell you this, it's not easy. You have to be extremely patient when you go for jobs, and you have to be very focused on looking for jobs. Looking for paid jobs is like looking for full-time, like it's like a full-time job in itself. When you have a full-time job, you want to be aware. And so what I do to keep aware, just to give you a little tip, is I use Magic Minds. Magic Minds is probably the best elixir that I've ever had. I don't drink coffee. I used to have Coke every day to stay awake during those times of, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that nap time that I usually like to have on the weekends. And I need that to stay awake, to be aware, to create content, to work my job, to do all that kind of stuff. And so I use this once a day. I use it in the morning. Sometimes I'll wait and use it in the afternoon. And then I just drink it. And what it does, it allows the caffeine. There's a bit of caffeine in it, and it allows it to kind of release into my body slowly. So it's not a big jump. Like the Monster Energies and all those energy drinks and things like that hit you like right away. I've never had them because they're so high in caffeine, but they hit you right away. Right? And Coke as well. They hit you right away, and then your crash is even worse. So you feel like you need to have another one, which is not good for you. Here, I have one of these a day. It gets me for the whole day. I'm good to go. It releases nicely. I feel good about myself because it's all natural products. It's got a bunch of nootropics. It's got like some different mushrooms, and it's just really good for you. And it makes me feel good. Right. And so that's why I use Magic Minds. So if you want to get a hold of it to do that as well, I was speaking to the people at Magic Minds, and they were gracious enough to give me a code so that you can use it and try this out for yourself, because I think it's really great. And if you get a deal for your subscription, and it's always good. So what you do is go to magicmind.com/protect ocean, right? /protect ocean, magicmind.com/protect ocean, and use my code protect20 to get up to 56% off your first subscription for the next 10 days. So magicmind.com/protect ocean, and use my code protect20 to get 56% off your first subscription for the next 10 days. So go do it right now. And let me know how you feel on it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because I love it and it keeps me focused, especially if I'm looking for jobs, right? Now, I remember looking for paid jobs. It took me 6 months when I looked for my first paid job, my first real marine paid job. And I got a little lucky doing it, because the way I was doing it wasn't perfect. I've talked about this story before. My resume was all over the place. So here's the thing. Going for an internship, a volunteership, where you're not getting paid, and you have to pay to do it, right? That's even worse. You have to pay to do it. And a lot of times you're looking at thousands of dollars, not including getting to the place where you need to go. Here's the problem that I have with it is the organizations who are doing it are organizations who are looking to gather scientific data to do great things. I have no problem with that part. The problem is they're not willing to pay professional people who have degrees, because they require degrees, to go and get the data. You have to pay them to be a part of that. That's their funding to pay their regular people to manage you, as well as the data and stuff like that. It's a great business model, but it does nothing for people within the industry. I strongly believe, that organizations from wherever you are need to invest in people. We need to invest in people to grow the people within the organization, so they have, one, they have loyalty, two, they want to work and they want to do well for that organization, right? We are passionate people. We will be loyal to the organizations if they take care of us, right? So you need to pay the professionals who do the work, and they will pay you back in droves of loyalty and great data and great papers and white papers and communications and all that kind of thing. And I'm starting to see more and more organizations do that. They're starting to pay their people better, right? Give them benefits, because people want to be loved, right? We want to see that love. We want to see that loyalty. They do it in the private industry. They should be doing it in the nonprofit industry. So that's one beef that I have with some of these volunteerships who use people for, 4 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, whatever that might be. They use the people who have degrees, who have paid for a degree, and then they'll go and get these externships, go to get these free volunteerships, or pay to go get it. So they're actually negative. They're getting more in debt to be able to get experience. And it doesn't always work out where you get a job from that experience. So when you're looking for jobs, you got to look at one thing. If you haven't been getting a response, because a lot of people, when I talk to them, and I talk to a lot of people about jobs. I had 2 calls this week, where I talked to people about their careers and things like that. Great people. trying to break into the industry, which is not easy, right? However, when I talk to different people about it, I've got a Facebook group, Marine Science and Conservation Careers, over 23,000 in that group. I see the same posts, and it's a lot for volunteerships, a lot for internships. I try and crack down on those because I want people to get jobs. I want people to know that there are places that will hire you and pay you to do the work that you've always wanted to do. But what you have to look at is, one, you have to put in the time to go look for that job. And then sometimes that means getting another job while you're looking for this job, right? And being able to pay the bills. That's one thing. Always keep you financially stable. Keep yourself financially stable. I am working in communications. I run my own podcast. I don't make money off of it right now. I'm very happy where I am in my career, but I have a job in software, in financial software. That's because I pay the bills. It keeps me sane. It keeps me happy. It keeps my family happy. We get to do things. We get to travel. We get to enjoy life. Get a job if you have to while you're looking for a job. Okay, that's the one thing. Always make some kind of financial stability, right? If you can, because you're gonna go in and out sometimes. A lot of people have gone in and out. If you listen to Beyond Jaws podcast with Dave Ebert and I, we talk to people all the time, and they meander all the way through. It's never a straight line where you're always in that industry. Okay. The second thing is you got to look at how you're applying to jobs. Is your resume good? Is your cover letter good for that job, right? Is it just like a templated? Don't do template. Spend the time looking for fewer jobs in the niche that you want, in the career path that you want, the job that you want, to build those skills that you want, right? And then you go do it. So is your application, your cover letter, your resume, is it up to par? Get other scientists to look it over. Get people who have jobs in your industry. Reach out to them. You can reach out to me. I'll look over your resume, right? Know that I have my own time and time is limited. So if I agree to it, I'll do it. But, have somebody look it over. Ask them if they could, because you've had having trouble getting a job. Just want to have somebody look over my resume. Can you do that? No problem. People, you will usually do that. You usually help you if they have time. Okay. Be aware of the time. Not everybody's going to do it, but be aware that, people who do it will make the time to do it. Okay. Or they have to make the time to do it. The biggest thing too, network. Who do you know in the industry? If you're new, if you're just graduating, and you can't go to conferences, LinkedIn is amazing. I've been on LinkedIn for the past 6 months, just talking to people one-on-one, messaging them, reaching out to them, connecting with them, and then messaging them. Hey, thanks for the message. Really love what you're doing. Love to hear more about your work, and ask them questions or something like that. It's great. I have a podcast that helps me facilitate that, where I'm like, hey, I'd love to have you on the podcast. And I've had a couple of interviews from there. But I go and I just connect with people. And if they're working in something like a organization that seems really cool, I'll start to ask them about it. So you can do the same thing. You can ask them about it, get more information on those from those people. And if they're in a position where they're hiring, maybe one day they'll be like, hey, we've been talking a lot about marine conservation. Here's a position that opened up. Would you be interested in applying? Have a network, build that network, take that time. That's why I say it's a full-time job almost to find it. So if you're working a part-time job, saying like a waiter or a waitress, or you're working like, hopefully it's nothing that's too tiring during the day. I know waiter and waitress, not to take that you guys are tired as well. But if on your off time, look for those jobs, right? Spend the time on LinkedIn. Spend the time building your profile, building your network, and saying, hey, this is what I'm up to. I'm looking for these jobs. Or just building like, this is really cool what you do. I really like what you do. Can you, talk a little bit more about it? Or, how do I get into this kind of position? I'm looking for something similar. Do you know anybody who's hiring or something like that? You can always ask that, but build the network first, build the trust first, and give something to them, compliment them, do something, whatever that might be, right? Congratulate them on things. I just had a good friend of mine in the industry who's doing a keynote speaker at an upcoming conference. And that's a huge thing for him. And I'm so proud of him because he deserves to be there. And so I reached out to him like, hey man, that's awesome. Like, congratulations on that, right? That's nothing to what that I want in return. It's just something, he's been in my network for years. We've been very good friends for years. And I'm just happy that he's been able to do this keynote speaker. So I think it's awesome. It's about time, really, in my opinion. So it's one of those things where you always have to be building, you always have to be looking, and you can get paid jobs. Yes, you are going to get rejected. Yes, it's going to take some time, but use that time. That's why I always say try and stay financially stable by getting a different job right out of university or right out of grad school, so that you can have funds to enjoy life and not be fully, engaged emotionally and mentally into finding a job, because it's not easy. But do that. It will help you. I promise you. it will help you. If you have any questions or comments, you can join the group Marine Science and Conservation Careers. I'd love to talk to you in there. I'm going to start a live show to answer questions and stuff like that in the next couple of weeks in that group, so check it out. And of course, you can always sign up to our newsletter where we have job postings. It's speakupforblue.com/newsletter. And don't forget, if you want to stay focused, hit up Magic Minds, magicminds.com/protect ocean, and use my code PROTECT20 to get 56% off your first subscription for the next 10 days. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the How to Protect the Ocean podcast. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next time, and happy conservation.